All right, after I fix myself a cup of coffee, I'm gonna put this engine on that stand. But the trick is I have to do it without lifting. So sit back and enjoy this circus. Okay, I'm back. Got my cup of coffee and give me a little sip and I'm gonna start. Let that cool down a little bit because it's pretty hot. So here we go. You're probably wondering what this engine is. Now, technically, that wasn't lifting. Wait a minute. Oh. I don't want you guys to hold this personal against me, but this is a Ford. Actually, it's a 302 Ford. And I will tell you a little bit about this. I kind of alluded to it the other day. This is a father-son project that I'm pretty sure the dad now, it was his truck when he was in high school. And now his oldest boy is almost driving age, and they are rebuilding this truck as a father-son. Actually, there's two of them. There's two boys. So they're doing this as a father-son project. So that's one of the reasons why I agreed to take this project on, was just because it had some cool factor there. So anyway, I've got a set of bolts here. Hopefully, it's a good way to start. Hopefully these will all pull in good and tight. I gotta have space for some of them. And on this build, much like everything else I do, the first thing I'll end up doing to this, and it will happen, maybe not today since it's raining outside and it's kind of cool, but the first thing I'll do is I'll scrub this engine real good. But I'll record it as other engine series. And for all the Ford fans out there, hopefully I won't let you down, since most of the stuff that I build in this shop is all GM. Those for cheap impacts are really, really good. So, all right. Yeah, I gotta lay this thing down and get it lifted up. So. I have a choker somewhere. I don't like putting chains through these journals, but this strap on this engine lift here should be just fine. Get it enough to get it up on the stand anyway. A couple bolts through here and get these snug. I'll raise it up. This will give me a little bit more. A little more tolerance so I can rotate it. Should I say rotate? I think I said roll-tate. Sometimes I have a tendency to make up my own words. They may not have meaning to anyone else, but I think I know what they mean some days. One of these days I'm going to invest in another air over hydraulic ram for this thing, make it a little bit faster. All right. And just like that, we've got an engine on the stand. I can go over some of the machine work and stuff that's been done to this. Matter of fact, I'll do that in just a minute, but I'll pull it over a little bit closer to the camera in just a second. Get this cherry picker out of the way. Anyway, move this. All right, don't get sick. I promise I won't. So, this is a 302 Ford engine. Someone had put this thing together. They actually did a really good job putting it together. It had factory forged pistons. They used ARP main bolts. They used ARP rod bolts. It looked as though the crankshaft was a 1010 on the 10 thousandths under on both the rod and main journals. They had assembled this thing and never fired it. They had a brand new camshaft. Lifters were it was all roller cam. And I, being the kind of guy that I am, I wasn't gonna trust someone else's work. So I got it back to Oklahoma. Actually, we hauled this thing from North Carolina in the back of our GMC Acadia. I got this thing back to Oklahoma and I took it apart and took everything to my machinist and had them, check everything, because one of the things you definitely want to do when you're using ARP main bolts is you want to have the line bore rechecked. Granted, when they checked it, the bore was too tight, so I had to send it off. We had the line bore done. The cylinders, I went ahead and had him measure everything, and everything looked really, really good as far as the cylinders were concerned. So We did a very, very light hone on it again, just to kind of give it a cleanup. Like I said, whoever put it together, they didn't do anything. I mean, all they did was assemble it, and it still had the assembly lube just gooped on everything whenever I tore this thing apart. I did have him balance the bottom end, and I always tend to, if anything that I'm going to do build wise I don't even care if it's just a factory overhaul. I usually try to have the bottom end balanced. It's not that much. It doesn't cost much more to have it done, and it just makes things better. So rotating assembly has all been balanced. I do have a small E303 cam that Ford used, which I had to buy a smaller cam because the cam that they originally were going to use in this thing was way too radical, especially for the build and the truck that this is going in. It has a set of Flowtech aluminum heads. Once again, they were never fired. They were just bolted on the engine. I'll be going over this build. I'll film the actual build. Another neat thing that I'm putting on for the new customer that owns this is an Edelbrock ProFlow 4 system. That will be the third one that I've used on some of the builds. We put one on a C10. I put one on a rock crawler. It was in some videos several years ago on my Facebook page. They work really, really well for stuff that's not super radical. I think if your engine's even slightly overstock, in my opinion, they work really good. They're easy to set up. The ECU mounts inside the vehicle. You can get it out away from the heat. Very easy to install. 5 or 6 wires, you're done. But anyway, yeah, this is a Ford. I know it takes a little bit of warming up to get used to it, but in the future, that may have that oval. So stay tuned.